Hey everyone, welcome to the announcement and introduction of our 2025 class of NBC Universal Sports Tech. I'm Brady and I'll be guiding today's session as we meet the incredible companies in this year's program. This session isn't just about introducing your company, it's also an opportunity for you to hear each other's stories, ideas, and solutions. Together you represent a diverse range of industries and technologies, so let's make this conversation a collaborative one. So to start things off, let's get to know each other rather quickly though. I'm going to ask a few rapid fire questions that everyone will have the chance to answer. Then we'll dive deeper into your company's unique approaches to sports tech. So let's kick it off with me here from Live.
Yeah.
So if you could let us know, who are you, where are you based, and what's your company or product in one sentence?
Thank you for having me. Mihir Ralavalkar. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Live. We are an audience engagement platform. We're based out of New York. I'm personally based out of New York. We have offices around the world. We focus on helping media, sports, and entertainment properties engage their audiences, monetize their audiences, get to know them better. And we do that using gamification techniques.
Nice, very nicely concise and succinct. Great. Okay, Nathan, how about we go with you? You can tell us about Liminal Space. So who are you, where are you based, and what's your company or product in one sentence?
Hi, thanks. My name's Nathan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Liminal Space. We're based out of Los Angeles, California. And Liminal Space is a media and technology company that has developed proprietary methods and display systems that generate wraparound holographic experiences for large audiences, akin to a VR-like experience, but without the need for an isolating VR headset.
Nice. I actually have another question for you before I move on. What are you most excited for about the program?
Oh, it's a great opportunity for us to take our technology out of the studio and lab environment and get it out there in the field to test it and get some reactions and practice evolving the systems to solve solutions, create solutions for the industry.
That's awesome. And me here, I forgot. I meant to ask you that follow-up question too, but it was off my screen. What are you most excited about for participating in Sports Tech?
Honestly, even just originally when I would have answered this question by just the partners that are associated with the Comcast SportsTech platform, all the different business units that I'm excited to learn more about and how we can help them. But now that I'm seeing all the other companies in the platform, I'm actually excited to see if we can find some ways to partner. Just when Nathan was talking, I feel like he and I have crossed paths in the past as well. So I think there's a lot of synergies in terms of the different founders and entrepreneurs and companies that are here as well. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to work with multiple different types of businesses.
Yeah, and we're excited to have you here too. Okay, so let's move on to Echo Bar. Reese, so tell us, who are you, where you're based, and what's your company or product do in one sentence?
My name is Reese Ryan, and I am the CEO and one of the co-founders of Echo Bar. We are headquartered in Indianapolis, Indiana, one of the sports hubs of the country. And we like to say that we're the DNA behind social decision intelligence for sports. And what we do is we help sports brands mitigate risk and shape their narratives and increase revenue, all by looking at the largest data set in the world, social media.
Nice. And so I'll ask you the same follow-up question. What are you most excited about by participating with Sports Tech this year?
It's a combination of things between the Comcast SportsTech folks, the consortium partners, the other people in the cohort. And I think our biggest goal is to gain a deeper understanding of the consortium partners' businesses, how they use social media, how they face the challenges they encounter. What do they really want to get out of social media other than just a bunch of numbers that do nothing? We want to provide the real answers to them.
That's great. And I'm sure that they're looking forward to you providing those answers for them. So moving on to Rishi and Ditto. Who are you and where are you based, and what's your company or product in one sentence?
Hey, yeah, my name's Rishi. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Ditto. We're based in Santa Monica, California, and Ditto is the technology that makes any media or video instantly natively shoppable. So we allow you to buy anything you see on screen without ever leaving the screen.
Nice. You must have practiced that one. It's the perfect one-liner. And what are you most excited about participating with our program this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think just building off what everyone says, like there's so many great companies here. NBC as a whole, outside of sports and sports, are just absolutely incredible. But selfishly, I'm a huge NBA fan. So as NBA gets rolled into what or NBC Sports is doing, I would love to make any jersey, any shoe, anything like that instantly shoppable. I think that's going to be an extremely cool opportunity.
Yeah, that's exciting for us this year too. We're looking forward to having NBA be a part of our family. Okay, so Avnish, you are the last but not least. Tell us a little bit about CamAI. Who are you? Where are you based? And what does your company do?
Hey all, I'm Avnish Prakash. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of CamAI. I'm based out of the beautiful sunny city of Dubai. CamAI is a foundational AI company with in language translation, enabling global storytelling. And we're working with some of the biggest enterprises, leagues, and broadcasters, helping them to go truly multilingual, helping them to take the content to viewers around the world in a language that the world speaks, using our AI dubbing platform. And in this world of sports, we're truly committed and driven to take every sport in every language to every part of the world.
Nice. So, with that said, what are you most excited about participating with Sports Tech?
As a young startup, we were always very inspired to work with Comcast NBCU. Through this program, we're looking to forge uh, industry first partnerships with some of the major sports enterprises, the partners, and all the participants here to help elevate fan engagement and become global first in their own fields.
That's fantastic and aspirational, all in the same. Great. All right. So now that everyone has heard a little bit more about what each one of your companies do, obviously, I know it's just the short one-liner. This isn't a pop quiz, but I'm interested to know. And this is one of the things that we hear a lot about when our founders meet each other in the teams. A lot of times they immediately see synergies and ways that they think that they can work together, and many of our companies have done deals together. What do you guys think? I know there's just 5 of you here on the screen. There's another 5 yet still to meet. Do you see things automatically kind of popping into your head, ideas of ways that you guys might form relationships or see opportunities to work together? And this is just an open forum. Y'all answer as you will.
Absolutely. There was 2 that jumped right out at me. Because we're looking at social media data, it's the one place where everybody talks, right? So if you're going to be putting up products for sale on the screen, wouldn't it be nice to then piggyback that off of what's happening on social media at the same time? Fan engagement, many different ways of doing fan engagement. One of the largest is social media. It's nice to have followers and likes, but if you can understand influence, popularity, conversation drivers, you can really impact your bottom line.
And I think Brady, just listening to all the great founders here and their inspiring stories, I think video is becoming the mode of communication across. Ditto whether it's video shopping experience, live like, all about fan engagement. We are a company dedicated to improving and increasing fan engagement for any sporting property in the world. And I think many of these companies come close to what we are doing. I think we sit in adjacent spaces in many different ways. So I see a great synergy emerging out of this program. And who knows, at the end of the program, maybe a lot of us will be working together to bring something even more profound out of the program, really.
I mean, I can just chime in quickly. One thing about the sports tech space, and I've now been in it for the last decade or so, working with a lot of the partners in different avatars. You can't always trust the buyer to figure out how to bring technologies together. It's upon the tech partners and tech vendors and tech providers to actually figure out what are all the integration opportunities, how do we bring a more full stack solution. And that's something that we've been focused on as a business for the longest time. And so seeing more technologies, I mean, I'll give you an example. LiveLike is all about gamification. You can gamify everything. You can gamify how much coffee you buy. You can gamify how much content you watch. You can gamify how many products you purchase. So for me, I could make an argument that every single one of the companies in this cohort and the second cohort could use gamification. That doesn't mean they have to work with live but you can always use gamification as a way to drive retention, drive stickiness, drive increased engagement. But having said that, what insights are driving engagement? That's EchoBar, what they're doing there. Or, how do you engage audiences of different demographics? How do we engage them in their own language? So I could make the argument that there's integration opportunities across the board here. And I don't trust all the partners in the program to figure that on their own. It is upon us to figure that out for them.
I'd probably want to echo Mahir. I'm seeing a lot of interesting connections here with every company. And our focus is mostly out-of-home entertainment and facilitating further growth and expanding those opportunities that entice audiences to have new opportunities to maybe leave the couch and go and engage in a fan experience that's exciting and inspiring. But a lot of that focus has been just in the States, but I'm really excited to see the international opportunities here where we can expand engagement and out-of-home engagement in special ways to many different cultures that may not even have the opportunity to be here in the States to engage in these sporting events. So there's a lot of barriers that I'm seeing opportunities to overcome working with all these other teams, all these other companies.
Right. And Rishi, I didn't know if you wanted to add anything. I didn't want to move on before I give you an opportunity to chime in.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of really cool ways to collaborate here, especially with what Reese was saying earlier. I think what we're able to do here is pull out a lot of data from media and from the video itself, largely an opaque ecosystem as it is right now. So the more that we can bring out that data set and bring that to all these other individuals, I think the data component is going to be really, really interesting to help augment a lot of different solutions in the space.
Yeah, I can see that too. And as I said, there's just half of you guys here, and there's a whole other half that you'll meet as well. And as I mentioned in the past, our founders really do find a huge opportunity in meeting with each other and understanding each other's technologies. And I think that's going to be a fun part of this for you guys too. Okay, now a little bit of collaborative Q&A for the group. So each of you have a question, I think, that you'd like to ask of one of the other companies. Nathan, I think we're going to start with you, and I believe your question is for CamAI, for Avnish.
Hey, Avnish, with major networks like NBC and Sky testing your technology, what challenges do you anticipate when scaling for live sporting events?
I think, Nathan, the way we have built our technology to translate and transform content from one language to another, literally addressing 150 languages or language pairs, the way we have brought it up and the stage we have brought up the technology, we don't see any challenges really. I think what we're really looking forward is to enable, NBC, enable Sky to get into multilingual, to become more global as fast and as efficient as possible using our AI-driven platforms. It doesn't matter whether the content is VOD or live streaming. We help organizations turn their content live or VOD into multiple languages, from any language to any language. I think a bigger goal for us is, for NBC and Sky, content is the ultimate product that they bring to viewers. Of course, we do that, but in a relatively short span of time, we also see ourselves as becoming the language translation partners for people like NBC and Sky to really make their organizations truly multilingual across their business functions, and not just for the content that they bring to their viewers.
Nice. Okay, well, Avnish, we're going to keep this going with you. I believe you then have a question for Rishi with Ditto.
Hey, Rishi. So what potential do you see for your platform in sports sponsorship and advertiser engagement?
Yeah, I think there's a ton here. I think specifically the sports sponsorship part, I think it's going to allow for a lot more interaction between fans and what they see on screen. So whether that's buying the jerseys that they see or buying the shoes that the athletes are wearing, I think that's a direct sort of sponsorship opportunity. But then also on the advertiser engagement, I think being able to see different avenues to highlight advertisers allows for both the sports brands as well as Comcast as a whole to charge higher opportunities for those advertiser engagement portals. So I think there's a lot of really cool opportunities that aren't just the most obvious ones there.
Okay, great. So thanks for that, Rishi. So now you have the floor, and your question is for Nathan with Liminal Space.
Yeah. Hey, Nathan. Just wanted to ask real quick, how do you see your solution driving new revenue streams for venues or sports teams?
Well, we've been very closely involved in developing technology-driven entertainment solutions for the rapidly growing out-of-home entertainment markets. And demand for new and more intimate experiences for fans is at an all-time high. And with our technology solutions, we can provide very unique, differentiating experiences that would not be something you can experience at home, that provide audiences with an opportunity to be closer to the teams than ever before. And this can further increase fan engagement, which we're all looking forward to. So we can provide all these things that would give these provide solutions for the fan base, but also provide opportunities for additional foot traffic for venues that are competing with an ever expanding in-home sporting experience. So what's great is the home experience can continue to push as it has been to make something special, but we can provide something that's not necessarily in competition, but actually very different yet exciting and something that can scale rapidly.
Those are really good insights. Thanks, Nathan. So I'm going to jump over to me here. So you have a question for Reese with Echo Bar.
I do. I was listening to the intro earlier, and obviously harnessing the power of social media is really interesting, right? Like, what are some of the unique insights that you think you're delivering that traditional analytics or insights providers aren't able to?
Sure. Well, legacy analytics are quantitative in nature, and we like to say they don't reveal the story behind their numbers. And that's why we actually created a whole new way of thinking about an industry called social decision intelligence. And what we do is we use advanced proprietary AI to uncover a whole host of information from risks and background checks, conversations, influencers, drivers, and what we like to call the who, what, and the why of the conversation. It's humanly impossible to look at tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of posts and understand what are people talking about, who are the relevant people in the conversation, where's the real impact and influence going on. These are the answers that are going to drive revenue. These are the answers that are going to help you mitigate risk and even control your own narratives. We've seen everything from how people are talking about the recent referee situation with the NFL. And, looking back on our past and thinking about this, I remember in the earlier days of our development when NASCAR banned the Confederate flag at events. It was interesting to see that social media sentiment was pretty low, but you didn't know whether the sentiment was against banning of the flag or people who were talking about banning or the people that were for it, because sentiment doesn't give you a true value answer. Where with our AI, we were actually able to show that 67% of the fans agreed with banning of the flag. And that's a valuable insight that can help NASCAR moving forward, especially since it was several months before they had their first race. And that kind of information could help them craft their message and put out what they needed to put out to drive revenue, more fans, and, as we like to say, more people in the seats.
That's true. It sounds like NASCAR has a lot to look forward to working with you guys. Okay, and so for the final Q&A, so Reese, you get to return the favor and then ask me here a question about LiveLike.
Yes, personally, I'm very fascinated by gamification. Having had several startups with mobile apps, it's always an interesting thing to think about how you engage people. So I am really fascinated to hear the techniques you've implemented to really enhance fan engagement.
I appreciate that. I think gamification is such a catch-all, and just like fan engagement is. I think the way we approach gamification is we have solutions, right? There are different types of solutions. There's mini games, like a whole library, like a New York Times arcade game strategy, right? Like hyper casual games, daily games that bring people back to your platform. We have solutions like rewards programs, like airline style rewards programs that we're all familiar with. Hospitality and travel industry has been doing it for years. And then we have community-based experiences. So to a certain extent, just piggybacking on what you were saying before, like there's a lot of chatter and people have a lot to say. Now, not every platform necessarily has the risk tolerance to have that chatter on their platform. But for those who do, it is a extremely powerful retention and time spent tool. But I think the part that probably works the best is just getting into the psychology of the fan. We are believers in the Octalysis framework. There are 8 different behaviors: intrinsic motivation, extrinsic motivation. I might be motivated by proving to myself that I can get this crossword within 2 minutes. Someone else might be more motivated by showcasing that they were able to get the crossword within 2 minutes, and that's an extrinsic motivation factor. So we work with our partners and organizations in understanding what truly drives their fans, with an ultimate goal of driving their business objectives and KPIs, which might change year over year. So the gamification techniques also have to change year over year. NBA is coming onto NBC after 2 decades. You want to just bring the audience in there first. So for now, let's drive techniques that'll bring the audience to the platform. They could be many different types of experiences. But once they are there, now we need to retain them. How do we keep them there longer? How do we get them to, how do we get a bigger share of wallet? Maybe that's where Ditto style shoppable purchase experiences come into play. Or you want to translate in different languages. So what are the fan behaviors that are going to drive the ultimate business objectives? Finding those is extremely important. You can obviously iterate on it. Our platform is built for iteration, but that's where you apply the pressures and the levers for gamification.
I love this. You guys are really passionate about what you do, and I'm excited to see that you're passionate about what each of the other companies are doing too. There's nothing wrong with a little healthy competition, but there's also something to be said about you guys all being interested in what each parts kind of work together, like the sum of all the parts. So this is exciting for us too. So I just have one final question for each of you before we go. And I can easily you guys answer at will, or I could go in order. But what would be the most remarkable or unexpected outcome that you could see happening from being part of SportsTech? You want me to pick on somebody, or anybody want to volunteer? Reese, you look like you're ready to say something.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
It's a hard question for founders because we want it all.
It's unexpected. I'm expecting everything. I'm expecting partnerships. I'm expecting 6-7-figure deals. I'm expecting.
I love it.
That's the unexpected part.
This is why we do this. I mean,
say more.
This is what I'll tell you. At my second startup, by the way, EchoBar is my fourth. At my second startup, I invented what became one of the largest technology platforms in film and TV, and still running after 18 years. But, that felt really good. But the best part was at 2 a.m, I got a call from one of the producers of Game of Thrones, right? Waking me up, fine. And he goes, I just wanted to call to say thank you. We had a crisis because of weather. We had to reschedule and redo everything. Without your software, we would have lost over 6 figures because you made it so easy. And that thank you as a founder means everything.
I mean, I can also take a quick. Oh, no, actually, Avnish, I've spoken at length for a bit, so maybe you take your turn.
I'll probably just go a couple of steps back and reflect on why and why we started the company. Really, there's a beautiful movie called Ratatouille. I'm sure everybody would have seen it, and there's a even more beautiful dialogue in that not everyone can be a great artist, but a great artist can be born anywhere. And literally, that has been the inspiration for us to start the company. We want to take every great artist born anywhere in the world to anywhere else in the world and tell their stories, right? And while it's very, very intuitive for most of the sporting enterprises that we speak to, most of the content owners, that it makes a lot of sense for them to repurpose and translate the content into every language possible and take it to the end of the world. I think what we also recognized is that in the world of sports, if we look at any sport, the way sports has actually evolved is through diversification. And what better way to diversify a sport than to take it across the border into new territories in a language that people understand? I think the most foundational thing or most impactful thing that will happen for me is, of course, we want to increase the fan engagement for everybody that we work with, all the partners that we work with. But if the sport at some day, if their sport got diversified and evolved into something else, that will be the most profound thing that would have happened just because it was able to cross the boundaries and go across.
Yeah, I like where you're going with this. I love these big, audacious goals. Keep sharing.
I don't know if I can follow that, but maybe one of the unexpected. Usually with these types of situations, we're so focused on our own business and getting deals and making money. And, sports is a very small fraternity. I mean, I'm privileged to have worked globally. Like, we have partners globally. So I travel globally. I meet a lot of people, and sports has always been the language in which I make friends with people. Like, I'm in South Africa, I'm talking about South African rugby. I'm in France, I'm talking about French football, whatever. Um, but finding friendships in these types of situations can go a long way, because everyone here knows 10 people that could be relevant partners for them. But you need to have that level of trust and desire to actually help them. Like, no one, it's so transactional these days. Well, what's my percentage? What's my cut? So if we can actually forge strong relationships where we want to help each other, I think that is not something I take for granted, and hence I say it could be an unexpected outcome.
No, Meher, well said, and I don't think we can better that, and that would be a very, very noble goal, uh, a noble outcome of the entire exercise. I think it's all about networking, looking out for each other, and you're right. I mean, the world is transactional, not just the world of sports. Just this interaction, actually, last half an hour gives me tremendous hope and tremendous motivation to actually be a part of the cohort later this month, and I'm sure we'll forge some lifelong partnerships here.
Sure. Well, I think I want to echo what I just heard, which is historically sports has been humanity's way of coming together and overcoming our differences or overlooking them intentionally, right? And finding ways to come together. And sports is a great way to do that. And so anything we can do to further expand the engagement outside of our borders as well as inside of our borders, because there's all kinds of different people in the world, and if we can increase fan engagement, I think that would be a wonderful outcome where people can come together and enjoy and be inspired together and compete together in healthy ways. But I think even one of the other more unexpected things, which we all come into this as directors of our companies and founders, we all have our the reason we're doing this is we have a vision of what we want and what we think needs to happen. And of course, we're going to pursue those things. But what I'm also really excited about is finding those little pinch points or those little things that we haven't thought about, maybe that maybe our collaborations or our technology solutions might be able to provide solutions for things that we hadn't even thought about. So I'm looking forward to learning more and more and see what things maybe we haven't thought about addressing, and seeing if we can find greater solutions together.
And then from our side, like I echo what everyone's saying. I think something else that's really, really exciting about being in the sports tech and being in sports in general is that culture generally starts from sports in general. I think from the fashion of what people wear as they come into games to being able to have a place where nothing else matters other than the game itself. Culture emanates from sports. And I think something we're really excited about is being able to remove the friction points that exist in that method today. If culture is coming from sports, we need to make it as easy as possible to be in that environment, to not feel like anything is different, and allowing for people to see what they see on screen. If they're seeing their favorite athlete do something, if they're seeing their favorite athlete wear something, we want to make sure that that's able to be purchased right then and there. We want people to have that experience from the cultural focal point, not have multiple points of friction that exist in between. So I think it's a perfect place to start for this as our long-term journey is to change how people interact with media and everything they see on screen from the jump.
So thank you guys for joining us today. I really appreciate it. But that wraps up our roundtable. It has been so inspiring to hear your ideas and see how much potential that this class has, not only to innovate individually, but also to collaborate across industries. And so today, it's really just the beginning. But later this month, we'll officially kick off the program in Atlanta, where you'll begin laying the foundation for your work. And from there, we'll head to Philadelphia to spend one-on-one time with our consortium partners to bring your pilots to life. And then the program culminates in events that will take place in New York and LA, where we'll celebrate your progress and showcase your achievements. And so For everyone tuning in, these teams are on a journey to shape the future of sports tech. Follow us on our social channels and our YouTube channel for updates, highlights, and behind-the-scenes clips as these innovators shape the future of sports tech. Thank you to all the teams for sharing your stories today, and we can't wait to see what you accomplish.